Hello and welcome to another match from the Sakura Spring Championship in the Fall of the Samurai section. This is a best of 5 from round 2, played between Chaos Blade in black and green and RTK Prussian Prince in black and red. The map is Gunma Field, which was picked by Prussian Prince. We do have a workshop and a shrine here, and I'll go over Chaos Blade's army first. So he does bring 2 red bears on the left, in the center a black tortoise force, and an Infanterie de Marine. Very surprising to see this one, with suppression fire. Then towards the right side he has a couple more black tortoise, 2 of them, a Shogun Guard infantry, a red bear infantry, and a spear levy. So this is very interesting. I think he likes to bring this unit, the Shogun Guard infantry, quite often on Gunma fields because it's very nice to push with it on the flank. So I assume he'll do the same here and be very aggressive here in and around the right side of the shrine. But I haven't seen the replay before. I just have seen him do it on a couple other occasions. No supporting cavalry on the left flank, so he's leaving this one red bear for going for this workshop quite isolated. Then calf-wise, he has a Yariki Saber Calf, vanilla, Revolver Calf, 2 of those in the center, and another Yariki Saber Calf combination vanilla. His general is a command gen with gun enabled, and if I remember correctly, this is also a rank 9 general, not a rank 10 general. But I might be wrong here. Then for Prussian Prince, he has a command gen as well, but with slightly better stats when it comes to his gun. So both have gun enabled command generals. Then infantry-wise, 2 red bears on the right, white bear in the center, black tortoise, Royal Marine, rank 5, no suppression fire, white bear, red bear, red bear. So very standard army again. And I assume he's also brought 2 revolver calves, although there's only one that's currently not being hidden away. So what we can see is 2 Yarikis, both rank 2. No, only one rank 2, sorry. On the left. On the right side, another Yariki rank 0. I assume there's going to be a second one. Yeah, but we'll have to find that out later. Positioning wise, Gunma Field is it's quite an interesting map because sometimes the battles can be extremely long and sometimes they're over within like a minute, depending on how aggressive players play in and around this this area around here. One thing that's most good players know about this already, but in case you're relatively new, one thing that's always worth mentioning on this map is this little piece of terrain over here, where the Infanterie de Marine is currently going. A lot of people don't know that this little bump in the terrain exists, and they wonder why their units won't fire, or their 150 range unit is creeping up super close instead of just firing. It's because their line of sight is being disturbed around this area. So this is quite a neat area to take advantage of when you want to counter 150s. Or when you want to creep forward melee infantry. So very strong position over here. And here it's much more flat. There's barely anything to point out here. But yeah, as I expected, especially with the spear levy going forward as a meat shield, I think Chaos Blade will try to turn this into a very quick game, trying to push as early as possible. Both players here going for the workshop. This is a pretty standard 2 versus 2, although Prussian Prince does have cavalry here, which is a big advantage. Although it does look like he is remaining passive so far. I think he really needs to push the advantage here that he has, or just pull back the cavalry and send it to the center or on this side, because this is clearly where the main action is going to go. So yeah, I'll just keep this on slow-mo because a lot of stuff is going to happen just about now. Spear levy going in, taking volleys from 2 red bears. There's really nothing you can do from PrussianPrince's perspective. I mean, there's no alternative to shooting down the spear levy. He just has to rain down 2 volleys and then hopefully be able to kite back a bit with some support from cavalry. So just throwing in some cav is not a terrible idea, even though it's technically in a blob against spears. But I think for that to have any chance of success, these red bears need to be pulled back right about now. And in the meantime, and this makes this defending this incredibly difficult. In the same time, he has to push the advantage somewhere else, because here he clearly doesn't have it. This Shogun Guard infantry is going to destroy in the forest. It was able to creep up thanks to the protection of the spear levy. At least one of these 2 lines is caught in melee, so it's not going to be able to properly fire, and this is not going to go well for PrussianPrince at all. So he just needs to retreat here, which is easier said than done in Fall of the Samurai, and make sure to make his advantage count in other places. Here he actually saw the opportunity and went for it, so that Chaos Blade has no cav here. And now we actually see the full picture, so there was an additional Yari key hidden, and there was an additional revolver cav hidden as well. So he's trying to kill off these 2 red bears from Chaos Blade. Let's see if the cav gets in relatively unharmed, which seems to be the case. But I think Chaos Blade can be quite comfortable here about this engagement, even if he loses both of these red bears. I don't think he cares too much. Most of what will decide the game is going to happen in and around the shrine. There seems to be a slight skirmish between the Infanterie de Marine and the Royal Marine, and I do think since Chaos Blade went over the Little Ridge, he even has a slight elevation / hill advantage, which could be a factor here. But whatever it is, the Infanterie de Marine is clearly beating the Royal Marine here, even without the support of the revolver cav coming in. Maybe he just got the first volley or something, but this is clearly a well-placed Infanterie de Marine. And over on the left side, thanks to a revolver cav and a nice position from PrussianPrince's general, the flank from PrussianPrince actually survived for much longer than I would have thought. I don't think he can push the advantage and kill off the Shogunate Guard. I don't think even the revolver cav isn't strong enough against the Shogunate Guard in the forest. But yeah, this is turns out to be quite a resilient flank. And Shrine obviously being controlled by no one so far. And okay, this is a bit surprising, to be honest. I don't know how PrussianPrince lost his cav here. Maybe the infantry support wasn't properly coordinated. Maybe he got shot in the back by his own infantry. But I don't see how he could have lost 2 Yari key when he got a clean charge on this first red bear. Like red bear aren't supposed to be that strong in fending off cav and melee. So this is a bit weird. Maybe some awkward angles in the charge. But yeah, this seems like 2 cavs lost for PrussianPrince that could have been used elsewhere, and in the end the cavs didn't even help him win the flank and the 2 versus 2 line fight. This is a bit odd. Maybe I should have rewatched that part because it's hard to explain. Either way, didn't make that much of a difference really what happened here. I think this is just a really aggressive and very, very strong maneuver by Chaos Blade, pushing the advantage on this flank with a Shogunate Guard, with a Spear Levy. It's super simple and even more so effective insofar as the dojo that is placed over here is a strong dojo. Because like if this was a farmhouse or something, then PrussianPrince could have afforded to cut his losses and just retreat much earlier. But when it's a shrine or a sword dojo or an archery dojo in Fall of the Samurai, then you don't really want to gift it to your opponent, which makes this Shogunate Guard Spear Levy push on the right flank from Chaos Blade much stronger because there's much more to lose for his opponent. And yeah, this line fight, this marine fight, 150 versus 150, wasn't that interesting in the end, because they kind of neutralized each other, and yeah, I think that this push was what decided the game here. So yeah, let's have a look at the final stats. I also wonder if the second revolver PrussianPrince was placed in the right spot. I think it was hidden in the beginning on the right flank, and then as the battle unfolded, he positioned it to the center, and probably didn't make too much of a difference there. I think it was brought there to defend some cavalry. Yeah, no kills that really stand out here. Vovocav 35 kills, obviously being suboptimal. 49 for the other one. And 125 for Chaos Blade. Nothing that really stands out here, which is often the case when you're fighting in battles where you're just rolling up with flank with a well-timed push with spear levy support. It's not really like individual units that give you the advantage, but just like the force and the momentum that causes mass routes. So yeah, no real MVP unit here, except aside from maybe that revolver calf. So yeah, well played by Chaos Blade. So this makes the score 1-0, and also a bit lucky with the dojos, or unlucky for PrussianPrince. But overall, I think he had a more coherent plan on what he wanted to do, and that enabled him to be the more aggressive and more initiating player. And yeah, I think I'll make a cut here, and we'll just hop straight to battle number 2. And we're back on Happo Ridge, which was picked by Chaos Blade. And he has brought a whole bunch of line infantry, much more than you would usually see here. So let's see, Red Bear, Black Tortoise, US Marines in the center, protected by Spear Levy, Black Tortoise, Red Bear, Shogun Guard infantry once again, and a Red Bear. Calf-wise, he has the same combination as before, so 2 Yariki, 2 Saber Calf Vanilla, 2 Revolver Calf in the center, unchanged general. Dojo-wise, most important one's probably in the middle with a sword dojo. Then PrussianPrince has once again invested slightly more into his cavalry. So he went for calf upgrades on his Yariki. 1, 2, 3, 4 Yariki, rank 2 with 18 attack. Then he has 2 revolver calves, just like Chaos, and also an unchanged gen. And infantry-wise, he has Red Bear, White Bear, Shogun Guard infantry, White Bear, Red Bear. So interestingly, no 150 for PrussianPrince, and he went exclusively for Bear infantry, no Black Tortoise. And he also, as it would seem, likes to play White Bear infantry, which is not something you see that often anymore. And he also does not use the retainer for increased infantry ammunition, which is something I would recommend doing when you're going for somewhat stronger bear infantry. But that's only a minor detail. I don't know why he doesn't use the chance of fielding some Black Tortoise force like Chaos Blade does, because it's really, in my opinion at least, it's a no-brainer, because when you have a command general, then you can afford it to play this unit with slightly lesser morale. I think going fully with the bear infantry setup makes much more sense when you play with a gun general or with a Bushido general. But when you have a commander gen, why not? Black torches are awesome, I think. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents before this gets going. Both positioned aggressively in and around the workshop. I think, yeah, Prussian Prince gets the first volley, very nice, onto this red bear. The terrain is a bit awkward around here. You can squeeze through Cav, but it's going to look weird. And I just don't like aggressing with cavalry in general on this map. It's they always get slowed down by something, either by terrain or by by elevation, by forest and stuff. I think the defender is always well placed to fend off Cav attacks. Let's see how Chaos Blade manages here. Nice charge by the Yariki into the Shogun Guard infantry, doing lots of damage, 50 men down. Revolver Cav supporting for both players. So the Shogun Guard infantry is sort of caught in between 2 revolvers. And I had to make a quick cut here because my game crashed, but that gave me the opportunity to reload the replay and re-evaluate the situation. So we're back once again in the scenario of the Shogun Guard being in this awkward spot between the 2 revolvers, and both players, as you can see, are shuffling their Cav towards the area in and around the workshop, trying to strengthen it and win it at all costs. At the same time, PrussianPrince does have control of the farmhouse, which might give him some slight advantage later on, but I don't think it will affect anything over here. And much more importantly, Chaos Blade is in control of this sword dojo, and there's really no way for PrussianPrince to contest this, because this US Marine, I think, is going to be able to fend off any infantry unit that comes too close. At the same time, this US Marine is obviously missing in this big fight in and around here, which is why Chaos Blade really needs the Cav support to hold on for as long as possible. And yeah, let's get this action back going. PrussianPrince might be well advised to get his Shogun Guard infantry into this mix here, because that's kind of the edge he has on that flank after this Shogun Guard infantry has basically died off. 50 men is going to rout any second. Now it's off the field, and this flank is basically held together by these 2 rapidly firing revolver Cavs for Chaos Blade. So far, the second revolver of PrussianPrince hasn't seen any action, so it's coming in now, a little bit late. And I think this is going to be a very important unit, because look at how blobbed up all this Cav is for Chaos. If he gets some good shots in here, this could be a very valuable unit for him. Red bears against wet bears, still firing, well protected by the forest, each unit. And this is now kind of hard to spot because of all the fog from the firing, but it looks like PrussianPrince's revolver Cav gets into some sort of weird angle. I think he has an attack order on this revolver Cav that's being pulled back by Chaos in the back. All the while it ignores the much bigger revolver Cav that's going after PrussianPrince's general and actually kills it now. This is a nice snipe from Chaos Blade. And yeah, just I think a micro oversight from PrussianPrince. If he just targeted the wrong revolvers, I think. But it's really easy to make this mistake, because as you can see, even as a spectator on slow motion, I can barely see anything with all this fog, and the players can't see that much either. This is really unfortunate from PrussianPrince's position. And it looks still very even here. But now I think that PrussianPrince is going to have a problem with his Cav, because there's still a Saber Cav, 40 men for Chaos, 80 men revolver, and another 37 men Saber Cav that's already connected with the Red Bear, and they're going to keep these bear infantry units from firing. while he can push up his infantry just like this Black Tortoise, which is now probably pushing up too far, to be honest. But I think this is a great advantage for Chaos, that he just wins the numbers game on the side now. Has to be careful here to not get his general killed off too, because these rovers are going to die to this hierarchy. But slowly but surely, this looks like it is edging towards Chaos Blade's favor. Something that Prussian Prince probably recognized here and tried to get moving in the center, but the facts of the battle haven't changed in the center, so pushing is just suicide here. White Bear infantry halved without being able to return fire. This is just a very well defended position by Chaos. And again, just like in Gunma fields, on the other side of the battle, you just have a 2 versus 2 with 2 Red Bear units each. Yeah, so both players really doubling down on their one respective flank once again. So let's get this back to normal speed, because even though there's still this full strength Shogunate Guard on the field, I just don't see how he can challenge this US Marine now, especially since he effectively has no cavalry left. So Chaos Blade can really play around with the range advantage now. So let's speed this up. Chaos Blade will, of course, get his remaining cav into the back of Prussian Prince, create some hammer and anvil movements. Now using the spear levy to push up nicely. Yeah, I think
your men are routing, sir.
I think the Sword Dojo obviously must have had a big effect in deciding the early super messy cav fights. But I also think that Chaos Blade's army was probably slightly better suited for the map, because again, I think cavalry. The only role of cavalry here is basically to act like a blocker unit. You don't need cavalry really to kill anything, because the terrain is just too difficult. So I don't know if it's worth it to go for extra expensive cavalry and to give them 2 attack upgrades. I think, even though usually I'm a fan of upgraded hierarchy, I think over here on that map, going for the vanilla option is a smarter idea. And again, of course, when Chaos Blade has the Sword Dojo, then he effectively has 2 attack upgrades for all his cav and all of his infantry. That's interesting. US Marines, best unit in the game, despite not being involved until the last minute or so. Looks like Chaos Blade once again got slightly more out of his revolvers than Prussian Prince, just judging by the kills. Although Prussian Prince got one really good hierarchy charge on the Shogunate Guard. I think that was one really cost efficient hierarchy in his setup. I think might have been this one. I don't know. But yeah, I think if he goes for a couple more Black Tortoise instead of White Bears, and invests even in a spear unit or something, then he has much better chances of winning that fight on the lower left side, or on his lower right side. Yeah, so interesting game once again. Interesting to see matchups between different similar types of generals, but with different approaches, army selection wise. And yeah, I'll see if this continues in battle number 3 and if Chaos Blade sticks to his guns when it comes to his setup with his calf. So I'll see you then, and I'll make a cut here. And we're back on Floodplain, which was Prussian Prince's pick. Very notorious rush map, even on Force Samurai sometimes. But it looks like both players opted for line builds once again. So starting with Prussian Prince this time, he has an unchanged command gun general. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 Yariki. Now he opted to go for vanilla ones. 2 revolver calves, and that's it. Once again, no saber calf, I believe. Infantry-wise, going for the left side, where there is a sword dojo. 2 red bears, US Marine, rank 5. White bear, white bear, white bear. So he likes to put white bears in the center, obviously. And 2 more red bears on the right side. In the center and the right, we have a shrine and a farmhouse. So again, I guess for the 3rd time in a row, we're gonna see a boring flank with 2 red bears facing off each other. But let's see. I think, yeah, that was it. No melee infantry. Then for Chaos, let's see if he changed the setup. No, still 2 Yariki, 2 Saber Calf, 2 Revolver Calf, all vanilla. 2 Red Bear on the left, Black Tortoise with reload upgrade. In the center, Royal Marine, rank 5 with suppression fire, another Black Tortoise. Black Tortoise and Shogunate Guard Infantry on the right side with the Red Bear. So once again, similar to the first battle on Gunma Field, where he's trying to push the right side with the Shogunate Guard and the Spear Levy. Let's see if the development overall is going to be similar to Gunma, although it seems like Prussian Prince is less intent on defending aggressively here. Looks like he might give Chaos Blade the Sword Dojo. Yeah, he's retreating his 2 red bears in behind this this hill. Probably trying to initiate on some other place. There's some early fire from the Royal Marine from Chaos. And these US Marines and Prussian Prince are getting dangerously close to this Black Tortoise. Let's see if the Black Tortoise is going to be able to flank the US Marine. It looks okay terrain-wise. So US Marine firing upon the Black Tortoise here. White Bear receiving casualties from Chaos Blades, Royal Marine quite even here. But this could be a problem for Prussian Prince here, this flanking fire. The Spear Levy are now going to get fired upon themselves. But again, it's just Spear Levy. And I think this US Marine is kind of lost here. You can already see Chaos Blades Revolver coming in. I don't think this is going to survive for too long. I think this US Marine needed to be in the forest itself, just like Chaos Blades Royal Marine, and it definitely needed revolver protection. And now it's a bit too late for that. Already wavering here. And it looks like there's a slight overreaction from Prussian Prince, who's now just going full in the center with his calf. Yes, basically sending all his calf in the center, trying to brute force it, which is an understandable reaction because when you see things are not going too well, then sometimes it can work to just throw everything in and introduce some intentional chaos into the battle. But for that to work, your opponent has to make mistakes too. And yeah, we'll have a look whether we spot some, but so far Chaos Blade is just throwing in the calf of his own. I don't think he needs to throw in his revolvers here. They probably in melee here by mistake, I would assume. But his Royal Marine is still strong at 90 men. I think there's some wrong targeting here by Prussian Prince. This revolver calf needs to turn sideways and fire upon the Royal Marine. He just needs to ignore this Black Tortoise. And now his infantry that used his cav push to push up needs to focus fire all the remaining cav from chaos that's in the blob. Easier said than done, but that's the way to get the most out of this this chaotic charge. Obviously, general could be a bit closer here. But at the same time, Chaos Blade just mopped up on his right flank, used this nice hill protection for his cavalry to get some relatively unharmed charges into the two red bears, which are followed up by his 3 infantry units, and now this is kind of over here already. As I said, this is a notorious rush map, and even if you bring a lot of line infantry, you can still play it like a rush map. Very fast-paced, usually, and if and when you see a 150 play, it's usually only in the center here, where I think Prussian Prince would have been advised to put his US Marines, just to be a bit more conservative. Obviously, when you put it out in the open here, you're becoming an easier target. So it's just a high risk, high reward kind of thing. But this US Marine in the open here only works if the left flank of Prussian Prince is also actively combating in the forest and going for the sword dojo. Because when he retreats his 2 units on the flank and leaves his US Marines alone in here, then yeah, he's gonna have a bad time, because how do you defend that? There's just so many units who can just throw themselves at you, and you don't really have a way to counter it. Yeah, I think that's all there is to be said about this. There's nothing too much to analyze. I think this is again, Chaos Blade had a very simple but effective plan. Just I'm gonna push the right, and he did it. And in the center, he didn't really need to push that much. He just needed to capitalize on the positional mistake of the US Marine. And sometimes Fall of the Samurai is as simple as that. And then it looks like a complete blowout, even though with just 1 or 2 tweaks, it could have been a completely different result. But that's Fall of the Samurai sometimes. So Shrine controlled by nobody still. Farmhouse again in control of Prussian Prince, but it didn't affect too much, I think. I mean, Farmhouse probably even less useful in Fall of the Samurai than in vanilla, where at least there's some nice utility for bow calves to kite in the end game, or for matchlocks to kite. And generally, I think units in Fall of the Samurai appear to be much faster anyway, because they carry around less armor. So yeah, Farmhouse kind of negligible. Yeah, Chaos Blade, I think he didn't really need to micro these US Marines. They kind of microed themselves in the center, 280 kills. And yeah, one of these revolvers is probably the MVP, because they killed off the US Marine. Prussian Prince even got 100 kills on his revolver. I think it was the one that pushed in the center and mowed down the Black Tortoise. Yeah, nothing else worth mentioning, I think. Again, very interesting battle. Chaos Blade seems to have like an army that he likes to stick with currently. And it seems to be working out pretty well. So he advances to round 3 of this tournament, and Prussian Prince moves down into the lower brackets. So you probably see some more matches from both players on my channel soon. And yeah, I'll see you then. And thank you for watching. And tune in again soon later. Thank you.